This week, I take the world's longest bus journey.
I'm a little bit scared.
A grueling trip of over 4,000 miles and 6 days across the width of South America.
I have no idea what's going on.
As I take a ride on the Transoceanica.
I just want to get off this thing now. I've had enough.
Welcome to Lima in Peru. This is the Pacific Ocean on the west coast of South America. Starting point for the longest bus route in the world. I'm about to spend 6 days on a bus from here at the Pacific Ocean all the way across to the Atlantic Ocean in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. There's just one thing to do before we go on this bus. We've got to start this journey officially in the Pacific Ocean. Let's do it. The Pacific's very cold. Let's see if the Atlantic's any warmer. Come on, we've got to go to the bus station because we have got a very, very, very long bus to catch. Let's do this. My journey begins at the Atacongo bus station in central Lima, a place that I'd been warned by many locals wasn't the safest place for a tourist to venture.
Gracias.
In here?
Yeah, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And it didn't take too long to be spotted by the locals.
No, Roski. Ja, пожалуйста, до свидания.
My little diversion tactics successful, I quickly headed inside where I'd been told it would be safer than out here on the street. It certainly did feel a little bit safer in here, but not by much, and I headed to the office of the Transoceanica bus company to pick up my ticket. And so this is Atacongo bus station here in Lima, Peru. Probably the bit I've been not looking forward to the most really on this trip. Literally, I got to the hotel last night and I told them I was coming to Atacongo bus station, and they said they strongly advise I do not go anywhere near Atacongo bus station. It's apparently in one of the really dangerous parts of the city, and they're like, just don't even go there. Hence why I've literally got my camera in my hands, just hiding it away from everybody. It's not the best. It's a different vibe to the New York bus station that I started the Greyhound video at. I don't know which one feels safer, to be fair. It's a toss-up at this moment in time.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thankfully, I wouldn't have too long to wait though, and fairly soon it was time to see the bus that would take me on my mammoth journey.
Gracias.
And so it was time to get on board my home for the next 6 days, the Transoceanica bus across to Rio. Right then, welcome on board the Transoceanica bus, the world's longest bus route. It's almost 4,000 miles, over 6,000 kilometres from here in Lima, all the way across to Rio de Janeiro. It's going to take 6 days on this bus to get across there, if it all goes well. Just hope it's a bit more comfy than the Greyhound was. Once everyone was on board, it was time to get on the road, and with a short delay of around 15 minutes, we hit the highway heading out of Lima. The Transoceanica begins its grueling 4,000-mile journey in Lima, Peru. From there it crosses the Andes, arriving in Cusco 2 days later. After that it crosses the border into Brazil, a country as vast as the US, for the last 4 days across to São Paulo and Rio, where it arrives after 6 days on the road. It's operated by a Brazilian company called Transoceanica, who send an entire team of staff and drivers on the bus from Brazil every week. Alright then, we are off about 15 minutes later than scheduled, but I'm sure we've got 6 days to make up that, and I'm sure that's not going to be an issue, but we are off on the route across to Rio. The seats aren't too bad. We've got nice big comfy seats on this actually. I'm looking forward to reclining it later. We've got USB outlets down here. There's Wi-Fi apparently on the bus as well. We've got a TV screen up there too. Curtains all around me as well. I can put my feet up and rest a bit, and we've got this nice view out over the roads of Lima as we head east. Yeah, that's east, isn't it? You probably couldn't tell I'm a pilot. Tell me east from west, but yes, we're going east. I got that one right, yay! As we headed south out of Lima, we followed the coastline down towards the city of Ica before reaching the northern end of the Atacama Desert, the driest desert on the planet. Now, one thing I'm making sure I do on this trip is stay hydrated. I'm going to have to. This is like a 6-day ride on this bus, and for that, I'm really chuffed that I've got this brand new water bottle. This is the Lark Pure Viz 2.0 bottle. It's a smart water bottle. Who knew they existed? Not only does it filter your water and keep it cool for up to 24 hours, which is just amazing on this trip. I can just keep buying bottles of cold water, filling it up and making them last. But also, it filters the water every 2 hours as well and cleans it, as well as cleaning the inside of the bottle. How cool is that? It's also a smart bottle, so I don't know if you can see at the top here, it's got a little button on it, and when you flick it up, it links to your smartphone and tracks how much water you're drinking. Every time you take a sip, it knows how much water you've drank. Logs it on your phone in the Lark app. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And then you can see through the day how much water you're drinking and making sure you're on target. And actually, that tastes nice, really nice. The water out there as well. It's got this nice clip and go handle thing as well, so I can just clip it to my bag and we are good. I'm going to be using this a lot on this trip, I can tell, but you can get your hands on one of these yourself. Just use the link down in the description to get yourself one of these really cool bottles as well. One of the things that has been making me a little bit nervous about this trip is the whole safety and the security aspect. Apparently I've heard that along this route, if you're not careful, from time to time they stop buses, the criminals will stop the buses in the road, climb on board the bus and basically rob all the passengers. That's something I really hope doesn't happen on this bus. A bit sort of up in the air whether we're going to be okay or not. I think hopefully we will. There's enough staff on this bus and presumably they'll just carry on if anything like that happens. I don't know. And as the sun started setting, we made our first stop. Alright, we've stopped finally. 8 hours in. Time to get something to eat. Gracias. Well, we've pulled off into a little roadside restaurant to get some food. I am starving. All I've had today is a little energy bar out for breakfast this morning at 7 o'clock. It's now 8 p.m. So having some pollo frito, some fried chicken, bottle of Coke here at this roadside stop here, somewhere in Peru. Right, they're fried chicken, Peruvian style, middle of nowhere Peruvian style. It looks quite nice actually. It's quite a big portion. Let's see what it's like. Starving. Right, that was really, really nice, that meal actually, here in the middle of nowhere, Peru. Getting back on the bus in a minute. I just noticed this is on the top there. The bus is going to Rio de Janeiro. It says a Mayor Linea del Mundo, which means it's the longest bus route in the world, and it even advertises it on the front. So yeah, let's jump back on board. Maybe we'll try and get a little bit of sleep tonight. The next morning, the sun started to come up, and as it turned out, we'd had a bit of a scenery change overnight. Well, good morning. From somewhere in Peru, I managed to get a little bit of sleep overnight. It's 6 a.m. at the minute. Been on the road for almost 18 hours now. Not the most comfortable night's sleep, I have to say. The roads have been really, really bumpy, like washboards for a lot of the time, being thrown around. And the seat's not that comfy either when you're in it, sort of trying to get comfortable. And it's freezing cold on this bus. Really cold, like people have got full coats on and everything. And then of course we've got the music from the chorus at the back of the bus. Between TikToks and South American music, it's like, oh. Anyway, we are, I'd like to say we're making progress, but that doesn't really look like we are. We've not even got to Cusco yet. This is where we are. So we're right here. If anything, we're getting closer to Lima again, but we've got to go to, it's not loading properly, there we go. So we've got to get all the way over here to Rio. That's what we've done so far in 18 hours. We've got a long way to go. And it didn't seem that we'd be making much progress anytime soon. Between getting stuck behind lorries and hitting roadworks, we seemed to spend as much time crawling at walking pace as we did actually moving.
So this is getting tedious now. In the last hour, we've gone about 1.5 miles. We are just literally just crawling behind a load of lorries up this big steep hill. That's my view. I have no idea how if we're gonna make it on time. I mean, we've literally made barely any progress this morning. It seems it's strange. I don't know. Maybe this is why it takes 6 days, because we just sit for like hours at 5 miles an hour.
Eventually, though, we pulled off the road and stopped to get a bite to eat.
Oh, break time. Stretching my legs. We've been on that bus since the last stop about 14 hours, so all my legs are a little bit tense. Never mind. Breakfast time, I think. Stopped somewhere up here in the mountains. So the breakfast choices here don't seem all that appetising to me for 10 o'clock in the morning, I have to say, when I haven't eaten anything for a while. They do have 3 different types of guinea pig available. If you want to eat a guinea pig on a stick, you can. You can have a Pepian style guinea pig, or you can have a chactado guinea pig if you really want that, to push that boat out. That's something really exotic. Dried paws, whatever a dried paw is, I don't know. I think I might stick with the black coffee. Let's just play it safe. Alright, I finished my coffee. I wasn't going for the guinea pig on a stick today, but the coffee was quite nice anyway. Very strong coffee here in Peru. But where we've stopped here, by the way, it looks absolutely stunning. Look at this. This is where we've just come in from, up this road here. All up in the mountains here, in the foothills of the Andes. We've not really seen much out the window because it's been absolutely peeing it down with rain all morning. But now, it's like being in Tuscany or something, isn't it? Look at that, beautiful. But in Peru with guinea pigs, I've still not seen a man eating a guinea pig on a stick yet, and I've still not seen Paddington Bear, and we're running out of time because we should be getting to the border tomorrow at some point.
And as we pulled out of the guinea pig cafe, we entered some of the most spectacular scenery I've ever seen.
Isn't this just magnificent? Wow.
The scenery was absolutely stunning, and the roads ranged from scenic to, well, downright terrifying. We hugged the edge of precarious cliffs, dodging falling rocks and the odd oncoming lorry on the wrong side of the road.
So we're now a little over 12,000 feet up here in the Andes. Incredible. 12,100 feet. We're still climbing as well. Almost at Cusco. We've been on the road now for 24 hours exactly. We've got about another day to go then until we get to the border with Brazil. So it's quite warm out here actually.
So I'm not quite sure I'm going to get to eat here. They don't have a menu as such. I asked him for a small meal and he goes, okay, I'll make you a small meal. So he's gone to make me a small meal. Hopefully it's not a guinea pig on a stick. Anything other than that, maybe I might be okay. Right, so he's brought me some soup. Try that soup. We always put rice in it as well. Oh, you know what? It's really nice, actually.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
So how about a little Lou Review when you're here? That's a little restaurant at the side of the road in the middle of Peru. Well, this is pretty much it. It's a little shack outside. This is what most of them have been like. And we've got some cubicles and a toilet. Hopefully you don't need number 2 because you would be sinking. Anyway, that's the loo. I don't know whether the one on the bus is better. We've not tried that one yet.
That was the Noel Phillips Lou Review. What a stinker.
It wasn't long before we were pulling into the city of Cusco, our first milestone stop. After picking up some passengers at the bus station, I decided to try and get some sleep, but that was easier said than done as I was serenaded by a chorus of Peruvians listening to TikTok without headphones.
You know, every time I come to South America, I am still amazed that the invention of headphones hasn't made it down here yet. It's incredible. I mean, they should open a factory down here, like manufacturing them or something. They'd make a killing. Because nobody has them. Everybody just plays everything on full blast, and when they can't hear it above everybody else's, they just turn theirs up. So in the end, you've got like 15 phones all playing different things at 55,000 decibels. Yeah. So yeah, Apple, get yourself an AirPod factory down here in Peru, or scatter them through South America. You know, you'll make a killing down here.
Perhaps surprisingly, despite the TikTok concert and the winding roads of the Andes, I managed to get a few hours sleep and woke up early the next morning as we reached our next stop.
Well, good morning. It is Saturday, day 3 of our 6-day bus adventure across South America, which means theoretically we should be about halfway through, but that's sort of where we are at the minute. We've left from Lima over here, and then we're going all the way here. So we've not even left Peru yet. We're in a place called Puerto Maldonado, which is about 6 hours from the border, I think, with Brazil. All that way to go yet across Brazil. I think I found the key to sleeping all right last night, actually. I got about 6 hours rest last night. Got me Bose headphones on, which helped quite a lot with drowning out some of the noise, I have to say.
Before long, we pulled out of the bus station, stopping for a moment to observe the local wildlife before getting back on the road to the border.
Right, so we are just a couple of hours away from the border with Brazil now, and it's gone very green outside over the last few hours. We're not in the desert anymore, we're not even in the mountains anymore, we're in the almost rainforest sort of environment that we've got going on out here at the minute. It's quite warm as well out. It's steamy and humid as well as we approach the Amazon.
And it wasn't too long before we were reaching the border with Brazil, where a whole lot of confusion ensued. The first job was to visit the Peruvian immigration office and stamp out of Peru.
So I've checked out of Peru, I think. Not quite sure what I'm doing now, because nobody speaks any English, so I've sort of stamped out of Peru, and now we need to somehow get to Brazil, which I think is that way. Alright, then we've been out of Peru, and now we're going across into Brazil. All a little bit confusing. I've changed all my money into Brazilian, then I wanted to get a drink, and they don't take Brazilian money now because we're still on the Peruvian side, so they only take sols. So yeah, I had to wait. Got to wait till we get to the other side, and then yes, see how it goes with the immigration over into Brazil.
Pretty soon everyone was back on the bus and we continued on to cross the Rio Acre out of Peru and into Brazil. But before we went to get stamped into Brazil, we stopped off for lunch in no man's land.
Right, so we've not actually entered Brazil yet, we've come for lunch, kind of in the no man's land bit between Peru and Brazil. So let's go get some lunch.
After lunch, we continued on to the border checkpoint where we joined a line to be stamped into Brazil. The entry procedure was pretty straightforward and I got back on the bus to wait for the rest of the passengers.
Right, then all stamped in to Brazil. They've let me in, yes. So we've got the rest of the journey to enjoy now across to Rio. So we've done 3 days, almost 3 full days, and we've now got another 3 full days all the way across the Amazon. The good thing about this bus is there's like water coolers at the back of the bus. So I've been able to fill up my Lark bottle with me with the water cooler back there, and it keeps it cool for like 24 hours, which is pretty decent. Just waiting for everybody else to go through the customs bit, and then we'll be on the road once again heading east to Rio.
As we left the border checkpoint into Brazil, my only hope was that the roads would be getting a little bit smoother now we were east of the border.
And then we are on the road once again. It took us about an hour and a half after we had lunch to clear everybody through customs there. We all got off the bus and they proceeded to go through everyone. It took much longer than it did to get out of Peru, or even to get into Peru. They're very asking lots of questions to everybody, and they're only doing like one person at a time. And it's a bit weird. They take you in a room, shut the door, ask you a load of questions, and then stamp your passport. They'll send you out to the next person, and it's a little bit intense.
We continued heading east into Brazil. The roads pretty much remained the same, the scenery remained the same. The only thing that broke up the tedium of the journey was the old little town that we'd passed through.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
So I figured I'd come and do a loo review, because I know when I did the Greyhound, everybody was asking me about the loos and what the state of them was. This is 3 days in now. Let's see what we've got here. We've got the toilet down there. It's not too shabby at all, not too dirty. We've got a nice little sink and some towels, and that's it. Not a massive amount of room, as you can see. It's sort of squished downstairs, but it's a toilet on the road nonetheless. Not too bad, really, if you have to.
That was the Noel Phillips Loo Review.
We carried on driving into the night before we pulled up in a small town in western Brazil, where we were told we'd have to get off the bus.
Well, I don't know what's going on. We've just been pulled into a gas station somewhere and they told us we have to get off, I think. My broken Spanish, I was like, espera aquí, and it's like, no. And she told me to get off. So I don't know, we've all been told to get off the bus. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're going to clean it or something. I think this is actually their headquarters for Transoceanica. I think it might be where they're based. I don't know whether they're going to clean the bus or something. I don't know. In any case, we're in a town somewhere. Where are we? We are in a place called Rio Branco, which is somewhere in Brazil. I don't know what we're doing. But there is a gas station over there, so I might go and get something to eat. I mean, I'll be honest, the bus does look a bit filthy. After trekking through the Andes Mountains, and it's getting difficult to see out the windows, so I'm wondering if they're not going to actually watch it. This is I think, where they're based, because we're in the state of Acre, or whatever it's called. Right, I'm sorted for the morning, or for snacks later on. I've got some Oreos, and they're Wednesday ones as well, or Wondina, as it's called here, but the Wednesday ones, yeah, AJ, I love that, my daughter, and a bottle of Coke. And the bus is gone. I hope this doesn't turn into another Greyhound, where the bus just buggers off in the middle of the night and leaves us. In some random town here in the middle of Brazil, but anyway, see what happens.
Eventually another bus turned up that wasn't ours, and we were all told to get on this other bus, which was all, well, a little bit confusing and scary, really.
Okay, I've got no idea what's going on. Another bus has just turned up. We've been put on this other bus, which is not our bus. Obviously all of our things are on the other bus that's disappeared, so I don't know what's going on now. I'm trying to use my mangled Portuguese to ask what's going on, and they just keep doing... So I don't know what that means. But we're on another bus. I'm a little bit scared.
The new bus took us all the way across town before pulling up outside a gas station.
Okay, so we appear to have stopped at another gas station just up the road, and there's no sign of any other buses anywhere, so I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. We're being kidnapped. I'm too young to be kidnapped. Alright, so there's like a place to get food and stuff here. Maybe they're just having us wait here instead of wait round the corner, but I don't want anything to eat, I'm not hungry. I just want to get back on the bus and go back to sleep. I've got my Coke that I've sprayed all down me because it sort of exploded when I opened it, so I've got that and I've got my Oreos. I'm good, bro. Right, it's been an hour now. I'm still waiting here an hour later. I don't know where my stuff is. My phone signal's gone as well. I've got no cell signal anymore because I don't know whether the tower's gone or something, but all of the phone networks have just gone offline. So I'm stuck here at the side of the road waiting for my bus. It's getting late now. It's 10 o'clock at night. I just want to go to bed. An hour and a half now. It's hot, it's sticky, it's noisy, I'm exhausted, I just want to rest. This is ridiculous. I have no idea what's going on. Nobody has any idea what's going on. We're just stood here like lemons waiting for a bus that may or may not turn up. It's not even like I can go somewhere and like check into a hotel or anything like that, because all my stuff is on the bus, my passport, everything else like that is on there, because they said leave everything on there, so that's what we did.
Eventually, after a 2-hour wait at the side of the road, a familiar sight appeared.
The bus is here, finally. 2 hours. Stood here like a muppet. Oh, let's go back on the bus.
finally pulled out from the gas station and a couple of minutes later pulled up at the bus station around the corner.
Right, on the road again, and we've stopped again for another stop. I don't think we have to get off at this one. Hopefully it's a bus station, so we're picking people up. I've changed my top as well. Gosh, I spilled coke all down my last one. Oh my goodness, poor lady sitting across at the back of me. Her destination was Rio Branco, which is the city or the town that we're in. So they made her wait for 2 hours at the side of the road, then driven her 5 minutes round the corner, and now she's got off here. Wow.
We eventually left Rio Branco and after a restless night's sleep pulled in for breakfast at our next stop.
Oh, well, good morning. I've woken up, it's sort of 7:15 in the morning. We're in another state down in Brazil called Rondônia. It's absolutely peeing it down with rain. We've stopped here. A gas station, predictable. For coffee though, let's get some coffee. Oh, I need caffeine after last night. Didn't sleep that great at all after that late night soiree in wherever we were. But yeah, we'll get some coffee.
Coffee obtained, we were soon back on the road again where the scenery didn't seem any different from the day before.
Alright then, so Sunday morning. We are more than halfway through this trip now, at least time-wise, distance-wise, I don't know. Actually, we were only just leaving the sort of town of Porto Velho in Rondônia state of Brazil. We're sort of there at the minute on the map. So we've only done that bit. We've still got all this way to go. Just looks crazy on the map, doesn't it? We're like probably a third, maybe a quarter of a way there distance-wise, but time-wise we're halfway there. Anyway, I've done 3 nights now on the bus. Got 2 more nights to go, so we're more than halfway through the nights on the bus stake, and we are more than halfway through the distance, or the time at least, stakes on the bus, so that's good. It is dragging. It really is. Actually, only 1 more entire day on the bus after today, which is tomorrow. Let's think of it that way. Might make you feel a bit better, eh? But basically, another 2 days after today till we arrive. If we're on time, which I don't know. Because obviously all these little stops where we're stopping for an hour, 2 hours, and it seems like, looking at that map, I don't think there's any way we're going to get there on Tuesday. We're sort of only a quarter of a way across the continent.
And while the scenery did seem a little more samey than it had been in Peru, that did seem to translate to us picking up speed a bit. That didn't necessarily mean that I wasn't getting fed up though.
So I've been on this bus now for coming up to 72 hours, 3 days. To be honest, I just want to get off this thing now. I've had enough. But equally, every time they stop at these little rest stops, I don't want to get off. I just want it to just stop and just for a couple of minutes let people grab a drink and then carry on. I want it to be almost Greyhound-like in that aspect, because I just want to feel like I'm making progress towards the destination. Which I suppose we are, but every time we stop, it's for like an hour, 2 hours for everybody to go and get a full meal. And it's like, do we really need to sit down and have full sit-down meals? Can we not just stop at like a fast food joint or a taco joint or something like that, whatever here in Brazil they have, and just quickly grab something and get back on the bus? Why do we need a 2-hour break? Like, every time we stop, it's like, oh, I thought every 2 hours that we stop is 2 hours we could shave off this bus journey at the end. Especially when we just, for a lot of the route, have been just crawling. I mean, we're now on main roads, again in Brazil, but these main roads we're doing maybe 40 mile an hour. We're not going fast, and it's like, oh, we've got like almost 2,000 miles to go on this trip. I just want to get off.
And of course, rather predictably, it wasn't too long before once again we stopped for a meal break.
Alright then, lunchtime. I'm starving now. I haven't actually eaten since yesterday lunchtime now. Let's go and get something to eat. Obrigado, thank you. And so these roadside buffet places seem to be quite common in Brazil. You get like a little card when you come in, you go through a little turnstile thing, and then it's basically a buffet and you can grab what you want. And I've gone for a massive meal. I'm not going to eat all of this, but I'll try a few little bits and pieces of what we've got. I've got some sausage, some chips, some whatever this stuff is. I don't know what that is, but and a bit of rice and some, I don't know, a few little bits and pieces. Hopefully it'll keep me filled until maybe tonight, well, maybe tomorrow actually, hopefully. That was really nice actually, I enjoyed that lunch. Let's get back on the bus. Back on the road again, heading across Brazil again. This, by the way, is my little area where I've been 4 days into the trip now. It's Sunday. Literally, it's like a dump, and I'm having to move stuff out of the way. It seems like a big seat when you first sit in it, but then after 4 or 5 days, you've just piled up with this stuff. I can't wait to get more room than this to live in. But hey, never mind. I'll keep it to my head on that blooming TV as well. But anyway, this is my space, and I'm comfy, relatively comfy if I can get my legs over. Okay, ready for the next bit.
Pretty soon we were back on the road again and heading east. As we headed into the night, the tedium was broken up by occasional moments of excitement and seemingly a Statue of Liberty in almost every town. I got settled in for another night on the bus. The next morning, the sun started to come up, revealing pretty much the same view as the night before.
Morning. Day 5 on the bus. Last full day today. Tomorrow we arrive into, hopefully, Rio. But look where we are. I mean, we're still like only halfway across. Crazy. We're going to get right the way across there. Honestly, I have more than had enough now of this. I ache from head to toe. Knees actually really hurt because I've been sitting for so long. I've been getting like 5 hours sleep a night. Come on, Nolly. One more full day. And then tomorrow. I'm not counting tomorrow as a full day, but we're getting late tomorrow night.
Fairly soon I got my first glimpse of the biggest city I'd seen since we'd left Lima, as we pulled into the city of Cuiabá.
Alright then, so we've stopped in the city of Cuiabá, which actually is the biggest city I think we've seen since at least Cusco, possibly even Lima. It's a huge city. Didn't expect it to be this big. That's what she said. But we're here for about 20 minutes right now. We're picking up some more passengers here, I think. A few of them have got off to go and get a coffee and stuff. I don't know about you, but when it gets to the bus stations, I don't like getting off to go and get coffee at these sorts of places because I don't know what you're going to need to get back on again. It's a bus station. It's not like a gas station where you can just get off and get back on the bus. With it being a full bus station, you're like, maybe they're going to have like barriers and stuff to get in and out. I don't want to trust it. I figured I'd get off anyway and just stretch my legs a little bit. I'm just going to hang about by the bus for a minute. Oh, I tell you what, flipping heck. I've literally, I think, when did I get on this bus yesterday? Yesterday lunchtime, wasn't it? After we'd had that lunch somewhere. That was when I got on. So I've been on the bus for like nearly 24 hours. Didn't get off last night, obviously. So, yeah, oh, great. Anyway, this is Cuiabá in Mato Grosso in Brazil. You know, this is absolutely crazy. This is the Amazon rainforest that we're still going through at the minute. And it's literally, I don't think we've found a bit that's not been fire damaged. Look at this. Everything is just black. Trees scorched, the ground's black. Crazy. You know, I saw something that said this year alone, 2024, 13.5 million acres of Amazon rainforest has been burnt down. That's about the size of Costa Rica. Isn't that crazy? Unbelievably sad. Think how much wildlife and stuff as well was in here and isn't anymore. Wow. So people keep asking me on Instagram and stuff, why do I put myself through this riding on these crazy long buses? And it does make me think, well, why am I doing this? Because, well, let me be honest, it ain't fun at all doing this. It's not enjoyable. It's uncomfortable, it's cramped. Little to no sleep for several days on end, getting bounced around and ending up in absurd amounts of pain. But you know what's also not fun? People who run marathons. That can't be fun, can it? Running a marathon, it's not enjoyable in the slightest, but the satisfaction they get is when they've finished it at the end and they've achieved something, and that's kind of what I get out of doing these crazy trips like this. When I did the Greyhound from New York to LA, I felt a sense of tremendous satisfaction at the end of it. The fact that I'd crossed the entire continent of North America by bus. It felt really good afterwards, and now I can say, yep, check, I've done that. Same on this one. And when I'm done, I'll be able to go to a nice hotel in Rio and chill and go, you know what, I've just achieved something there. I've done something pretty cool. Zach Alsop, another YouTuber, often says about the stuff that he does. It's stories to tell the grandkids, and that's pretty much it, really. The story of how I crossed South America by bus is a story that I'm going to have in here for the rest of my life.
And that's the thing, these journeys aren't fun in the slightest, but the feeling of satisfaction and relief when I get off the bus at the end of these mammoth trips is incredible, and looking forward to that is what keeps me going through the journey.
I do have to say, looking on the map, we are definitely now in the second half of the journey. We're more than halfway there, looking at that. We've only got like one thumbnail to go now. Alright then, the sun is setting on day 5, which means only one thing. Tomorrow we arrive into Rio. Just 27 hours left. This time tomorrow we'll be 3 hours off arriving into Rio. And I cannot wait to get off this thing. Well, good morning. For the last time on this trip. That's 5 nights now done on the bus. That was my last night on the bus. It wasn't a very good night's sleep. I've been up since about 3 o'clock this morning, and the sun is just starting to come up. A beautiful sunrise over there. And we're about 3 hours now from São Paulo, which isn't too bad. I don't know whether we're going to be stopping en route. We're not due in there till like lunchtime, but it's like 6 in the morning now. But maybe we'll be there nice and early. That might be nice, hey? I feel like absolute crap. I've lost my voice, pretty much. I've got sore throat, runny nose, everything. I don't think I'm ill. I think I'm just run down because I've spent like 6 days on a bus. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. That hotel resort is in sight, almost.
But of course it wasn't too long before we were pulling into a service station for breakfast, and this one was probably the nicest one of the trip yet.
Alright, we've stopped for breakfast. I'm not alive, and I've actually got out today because this place looks quite nice. It's like an actual service station, like shops and things. So let's go and see what they got. Hello. Well, honestly, this is probably about the best place we've been to on this trip so far that we've stopped off for food. It's like a full-on like restaurant cafe type thing, but it's really nice. Like a little buffet thing like you normally get, but then there's the whole kind of sitting down there, there's a coffee shop, there's even a place to buy wine and stuff over there as well. Pretty decent. I was gone for a bit of a panini this morning. That's okay. That's quite nice. Coffee.
After another few hours on the road, we found ourselves hitting the outskirts of São Paulo, Brazil's biggest city and the most populated city in the Western Hemisphere. After days on the road, I had mixed emotions as we hit rush hour traffic in São Paulo. On the one hand, it was frustrating, but on the other, it was a welcome sign that we'd finally reached a decent-sized city again. And that felt good.
Alright then, we have made it to São Paulo, and most people have got off here. This is like the big stop on the trip, so most people have done Lima to São Paulo. I actually, as we were coming into the city, was thinking, you know what, I wish I could get off here, but I can't because then it doesn't make it the longest bus route in the world. We've still got another 8 hours to go to get up to Rio. It's a big long drive now up the coast of Brazil, but we're almost there. The finish line is in sight. We're on the east coast of Brazil, at least. We can just shoot that little bit now up from São Paulo to Rio. We should be there for dinner time tonight, hopefully, fingers crossed. Nearly there, baby, nearly there. It's about a 6-hour drive from here. We've done 118 hours, we've got 6 more left to go. Just 6. I've done 118. Honestly, much of this bus trip, right at this moment in time, I don't actually remember, to be completely honest. It's kind of a blur of just delusion and tiredness and all the rest of it. I remember kind of the bus station in Lima. I remember going through some of those mountain roads in Peru. That's it. That's pretty much it. It's weird. My mind is just completely blank.
Now, I don't know whether my mind had subconsciously blocked out most of the trip for the sake of my sanity, or whether I was just so utterly knackered that my brain was blank, but in any case, it was time for the last part of my trip. And honestly, the last part of the trip seemed to pass in a complete blur as we reached the outskirts of Rio just after sunset.
Oh, here we are, Rio de Janeiro. Crazy. I can't even remember most of this journey, if I'm completely honest. Let alone when we started back in Lima. But here we go, we're rolling on the last bit of the journey, about 20 minutes left until we get into the bus station here in Rio. Oh, well, I'm so looking forward to getting off this thing, if I can move my legs.
And in a moment that felt pretty anticlimactic really, we pulled into Rio's bus station right onto stand 69, over 128 hours after we left Lima.
Oh, freedom! Freedom! Oh, we did it! Oh my goodness. Oh, a quick selfie in front of the bus. We made it. Oh my goodness. Obrigada, thank you. Bed now, yeah? Sleep. Thank you, bye bye. Oh, there we go. Rio de Janeiro, 6 days later. And we're still late. After all that time, the traffic was horrendous. I think we go this way though. Is it this way? Yeah, disembark this way. Now we've got to get our way across to the Copacabana. To JW Marriott? See? Yep, that's good. Sim, there we go. Sim.
So my ride on the Transoceanica cost me the grand total of $217 US, which I didn't think was too bad considering I'd spent 6 days on a bus.
Oh, all right, made it. Here we are. 818. Oh, that's so much better. Welcome to the JW Marriott Hotel. Good bed. Oh, flipping heck, that feels good. The bed's moving. Other than the bed moving, it feels like the bed's moving because I've been moving for 6 days solid. Ooh, that's weird. Oh, I'm going to get a good night's sleep in there tonight. This is the JW Marriott Hotel, Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. There's the view out of my room, down to the beach below, which means we've just got one more thing to do before we wrap up this video. First of all, let me flick on the lights. Right, one last thing I need to do. So I started this crazy adventure a little under a week ago now in the Pacific Ocean of Peru on the west coast of South America. From there, the bus took me across the deserts of Peru, the entire Andes mountain range and the width of the Amazon rainforest, and it's brought me here now to the Atlantic Ocean in Brazil. And this is Copacabana Beach. We did it. We made it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't try this at home. Take care, be kind to one another as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.